That was a great movie, right? Yeah. It's so nice to be here with all of you. My name is Sara Byala. I'm a historian. I work at the University of Pennsylvania. And if you'll just give me like 1 minute to tell you why I was so excited to moderate this tonight. And that is in 1967, at the height of apartheid in South Africa, my late father was studying to be an accountant. And there was no television yet in South Africa, and he was very nervous the night before his exam. So his parents said, let's go to the movies. So they go into the movies, and my father, Max Byala, walks in to see Max Bialystok and Leo Bloom, and he is just blown away. And as he told the story, he went every single night to see the film. And so when I had this opportunity to do this and to see this stunning movie, I was thrilled. That movie inspired a love of Gene Wilder in my father and in me. And so I just want to congratulate you on this film for capturing, I think, the singularity of Gene Wilder's genius and also the universality of what I think is a Jewish superpower, which is to laugh in the face of darkness. And I think listening to everyone laugh tonight was so profound and much needed. So just thank you all. I have... I've been told that I'm allowed like 2 questions and then questions from the audience because there's some big party. So I guess my first question, and I'm happy to put it really to all of you a little differently, but in making the film, and then maybe in watching the film, what role, or what Gene Wilder film or role most made you laugh?
For me, it's Young Frankenstein. I just think he is so wonderful. I loved Alan Alda's analysis that yes, it's easy to love him when you see him big and crazy and over the top, but that scene with Marty Feldman, the abnormal scene, he is so good. And he tries to keep his rage internalized, and you just know he can't. But yes, that's my favorite.
I kind of like Frisco Kid. I think that's an underrated film of his. I know that Gene's favorite was Young Frankenstein, but Frisco Kid I thought was really, I'm prejudiced towards it, but I thought it was really funny and a great premise. And if you watch the movie, you'll see that Harrison Ford and Gene are great together. They're not as good as Mel and Gene, but they're great together. And it made me laugh a lot.
Before I met him, I loved The Woman in Red because it was perfect for the time. Because I was a single woman in New York City. And the other one was Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother because I loved when they did pop, pop. Because it made me laugh. And it made me feel happy.
And then after you met him, what film now?
Everything he did. He was an amazing actor. Even things you didn't see, he was amazing.
I think my second question is a little bit related to that, and that is, here we all are tonight to open this festival. So what do you think? What's Jewish about Gene Wilder? Everything.
I think his kindness and his decency. Every single person that we interviewed, even 12-year-old Peter Ostrom, picked up on the fact that this was a very special man who had patience, who had generosity, and I think those are qualities that we pride ourselves in. And I think he also enjoyed bringing pleasure into other people's lives, such as Karen. And I think that is a Jewish trait that we all share.
I would say his humanity and his compassion, to find some bit of light and darkness that I think he could do in real life, both on and off screen. So that's what appealed to me.
Judaism was important to him because it made him feel that family was important, and he took care of his family. Religiously, I think, as his cousin Shelley said, he was more spiritual. He didn't like organized religions. They weren't. We didn't celebrate Jewish holidays particularly. We did Christmas, we did different things. We were invited to different seders, and they were all wonderful experiences. But Gene was a human being, I think, for the world.
I love that. I think the Jews will still claim him though, right? I think we could take audience questions, and there are mics on the side. There's staff members, or do you want to just yell? No, okay. So, well, I mean, or move to...
Hello. My name is Lyn Denton. I'm an artist and filmmaker in Philadelphia. I want to thank you for making this film about an older person, a person who grew to be old. I don't think that is very visible in our society. And I want to thank you for making a film that shows us the aging process. And also, I came to see it because I loved Gene Wilder. I loved the producers. It just was a glorious, wonderful, eye-opening experience for me. And I wanted to laugh, and because my husband has Alzheimer's. Thank you so much. It's been so meaningful.
I'm very sorry that he has Alzheimer's. That is the most despicable disease in the world because there is little hope. There is more than there was when Gene was ill. I don't know what stage your husband is in.
I'd say beginning to be advanced.
I'm very sorry, and I hope you have enough help to help you because you will need help. Do you have it?
He's in a facility because it attacked his mobility first. He can't even turn over in bed without help. So, and he was a very physical man. He's a very well-known artist in Philadelphia. His name is Charles Raleigh. He's Armenian. He's pure Armenian. He's taught me so much about life and
Art. That's a good thing.
I just want to add that this film was sponsored by pharmaceutical companies, by Alzheimer's organizations, that the intent with this film was to raise awareness about this despicable disease. And our feeling was, if we made a film strictly about Alzheimer's, people might not want to go see that. But if you put Alzheimer's in the context of a film about this wonderful comedic actor, a man who hopefully we will pass along to the next generation. I know my 16-year-old son now wants to go see every Gene Wilder film. Then we will have succeeded in not just raising awareness about Alzheimer's, but in maintaining the memory of this wonderful, wonderful performer.
And human being.
That's wonderful. I think we have a question in front here.
Hi, Karen.
Jason.
Hi, Howard. Can you tell us a story about how you and Jean met?
I met Jason earlier in the lobby of the theater and his girlfriend, and we had a wonderful time. So, I do want to tell you how we met. First of all, I'll tell you Gene's side because he's not here, so I have to get him first. The script for See No Evil, Hear No Evil was sent to him by his agent. Gene read the script and said, "It's a good idea, but the script is terrible." He said, "They're pissing on the deaf and the hearing impaired." And he refused to do it. A year later, someone came and said to him, "There's this movie they want to do. It's called See No Evil, Hear No Evil." He said, "I turned it down. I don't want to do it." 6 months later, TriStar came and said, "They want Richard Pryor, you and Richard Pryor to do the movie." And he said, "Okay, I'll write 20 pages. I'll change the script. If you like it, then I'll write it and we'll do it." So we wrote 20 pages. They accepted the changes. And he decided to do See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Now you may wonder what that had to do with me, but it was in the film. But I received a call from his producer's assistant in New York City. And I got a call from this young woman. I called her back. She never called me back. I was the clinical supervisor for the New York League for the Hard of Hearing at the time for adult oral rehabilitation. She called again. I called her back. I never got to talk to her. One day I was in my secretary's office, and my secretary's name was Bunny. And Bunny said, "This is this young woman." And I said, "Well, what does she want?" I've called her so many times, and she never returns my call. And Bunny said, "I think you should take this call." So I took the call. And it was a young woman that said, "Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor trying to do a movie called See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and they'd like to do research on how the hearing impaired behave." So I said, "Well, if he wants to treat them with respect, I'll talk to him." But the interesting thing was that he turned it down 3 times. I almost didn't call her back, and the reason we didn't make connection is because I was in New York City, she was in Los Angeles, California, so we were never at the same time zone, and she didn't tell me. So then they sent me the script. I made some corrections on the script, and then Gene called for an appointment, and he came in, and I treated him as a client with a hearing impairment and introduced him to a lot of people to prepare for his role. So that's how we met, Jason.
Oh, yeah, another question right in front.
Are you an audiologist or a speech therapist?
I was a speech pathologist, speech therapist, then they named it speech pathologist, and my background was very much into audiology.
And also another comment, the 36-hour day I found very helpful working with Alzheimer's patients. I'm an OT.
Seems like the theme of happenstance and fate
Absolutely.
carries through the film and is how that was a deliberate choice, I imagine?
Yes, you heard his first person narration, that was deliberate as well. We wanted Gene to tell the story. So we found his audiobook that he recorded when he did his autobiography, Kiss Me Like a Stranger. And the opening chapter of that book is all about fate. It's all about the Plaza Hotel fountain scene that we created, visualized to his words. And throughout his book, he talks about moments of fate. Even the Joe Levine moment was a moment of fate, because had Mel not stood up for him against Joe Levine, we wouldn't be talking right now. probably, about him. So fate was a definitive theme that we wanted to weave throughout the film, and we're glad you caught that.
Which I think you did beautifully, and so did you. And listening to me when I made the questions, and I appreciated that very much, because they showed not just his celebrity persona, but his human persona.
I think with this film, because we grew up loving and respecting Gene, it added pressure because we didn't want to disappoint Karen, we didn't want to disappoint Mel Brooks, and I'm happy to say that they both love the film. And in fact, Mel tweeted his wonderful feelings about our film before we debuted in Los Angeles. 2 million eyeballs saw Mel's tweet, and we had a line up and down Wilshire Boulevard when we premiered. So thank you for coming. This is another sellout year, and you guys have been fantastic.
Did I see one more hands in the middle there? Or?
Thank you for coming. Why are you leaving? Are you bored? I'm sorry. I can tell a joke, maybe. I don't know.
I was just curious as to whether he ever came to terms with the rage that he felt at, not being able to make his mother sad and other things that was an early thing in the film.
He went through psychoanalysis for 7 years, yes. And he became very psychologically, what's the word I want? Harris, what do I want? What? Attuned, thank you. Yes, he was very good at reading people and understanding them.
So I see lots of hands, but I think also they want to move it to the 5th floor to the DJ. You want one more question? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of Gene Wilder's films, as well as Mel Brooks' films, had ethnic or racial characters, and I think done lovingly. I don't think they were. I wonder, though, there were Native Americans, Yiddish-speaking Native Americans, a lot of African Americans, people with disabilities. Could those films, as we become more sensitive to those kinds of things, could those films be made today in the same way?
I don't think so. Honestly, I've seen Blazing Saddles on Turner Classic Movies. They bleep out everything. And that's probably the answer. I think audiences' sensibilities have changed. I think people miss the mark, particularly on Blazing Saddles, which is a full-on, head-on take on racism. And, if you're not in that mindset, I guess you'll never get it. But, I don't think so. At least if you're referring to Blazing Saddles, I don't think that one, not so much. There's a lot of sexism in the producers too. We had to watch all the movies thoroughly to pick
Well,
up.
bestiality and everything you want to
You can understand his feelings.
We offered this to PBS, and they said, "Well, we'll take it if you cut the sheep out." No bestiality.
And the doctors? Oh, they wanted to cut the knockers.
Well, they weren't choosing sides. They said, get rid of the knockers and the balls. But to our executive producer's credit, they said, no, we're not going to change this film. So
Thank you, Julie.
And I'd like to tell you that Gene was probably the least, let's see, He believed in equality for everyone. And I believe that's what he always wanted, and I think Mel Brooks did too. Mel would say, you make fun of Hitler, because what he did was despicable, just like Alzheimer's. The only way you can get through that is to make fun of it and to find humor somewhere, because otherwise it's devastating.
So clearly the time has changed and movies like that can't get made, but also maybe there's not a Gene Wilder capable of making them and pulling it off. So, yeah. Thank you everyone for coming. I think please come up to the 5th floor for the reception, and yes, have a great night.